Hi, hello! Welcome to the fascinating world of invertebrates. I'm tour guide Liam Longen with camera guy Preston Rubin, taking you to look at some truly amazing marine life. Unfortunately, we could not find everything we needed at the Tampa Aquarium, but we will try our best to show you what these creatures have to offer. First up, we have phylum Porifera, also known as the sponge. They are multicellular, pore-bearing animals with radiosymmetry and no nervous, digestive, or circulatory system. They live mostly in marine environments as filter feeders with turtles and fish as their main predators. In phylum Nadera, there are 4 big classes, the first one being Anthozoa. They can be sea anemones or coral. They live in tropical climates, capturing prey with cnidocytes like fish and plankton, which means they have a mouth surrounded by tentacles with dematocysts. Next is Hydrozoa. The most infamous animal from this class is of course the Portuguese man-o'-war. They have an internal space for digestion known as the gastrovascular cavity and have 2 body forms, the polyp or the medusa. They can be in nearly any marine habitat type. Feed on phytoplankton and other invertebrates, with their main predators being other fish. The class Skyvosa consists of true jellyfish. They have radiosymmetry and are composed of 3 layers. They can inhabit all oceans, Arctic to tropical. They are hunted by turtles, sharks, and penguins, but eat small marine animals, fish, plants, and other jellyfish. The class Cubozoa is mainly box jellyfish. They have a square bell top and inhabit tropical to subtropical oceans. Their main predators are turtles while feeding on small fish and crustaceans. Phylum Ctenophora, also known as comb jellies. They have 8 comb plates for locomotion movement and inhabit near the surface of shallow and deep waters. They prey on crustaceans and larvae while being prey to turtles, fish, and each other. Phylum Mollusca has 3 main classes, the first being Gastropoda, or snails or slugs. They are called stomach foot as their single foot is on the same side as their stomach. They live in every conceivable habitat on Earth, using their radula to scrape or brush particles from surfaces, while being preyed upon by insects, small mammals, reptilians, and birds. The class Bivalva, also known as clams, mussels, or oysters, use their large muscular foot to bury itself, and have 2 equally sized shells that close for protection. They are located in coastal areas feeding on detritus, while being fed on by birds, fish, crabs, starfish, sea urchins, flatworms, mollusks, pretty much everything. Next up is the class Cephalopoda, aka squids, octopus, and cuttlefish. They are bilaterally symmetrical with a very complex brain and eye. They inhabit coastal waters, preying on crustaceans, fish, and other invertebrates, while being prey to marine mammals and sharks. Phylum Annelida, or more specifically polychaete worms, are segmented and have well-developed paired paddle-like appendages called parapodia. They are prey to decapod crustaceans like lobsters and crabs while feeding on algae and bacteria. On to phylum Arthropodia, starting with class Cirripedia, aka barnacles. They are sessile, have few internal organs, and no appendages. They live on sturdy objects in the intertidal zone, feeding on algae and bacteria while being fed on by crabs and snails. Copepods are segmented with short cylindrical bodies. They are virtually everywhere there is water, feeding on phytoplankton while being fed on by fish, jellyfish, and whales. The class Malacostraca, aka lobsters and crabs, have a hard calcified exoskeleton with 8 pairs of thoracic legs and 8 thoracic segments. They are scavengers eating whatever they can find, living in marine environments while being fed on fish, octopi, and marine mammals. Phylum Echinodermida, the class Crinoids. They are filter feeders with a mouth located near the upper surface surrounded by feeding arms. They inhabit the deep sea or coral reefs and are fed on by fish and other members of its phylum. The class Astrodea, aka starfish, has a body composed of a central disc surrounded by its radiating arms. They live in almost every ocean, feeding on mollusks, and have predators like crabs, snails, other starfish, and fish. Class Echinidea, aka sea urchins, have bilateral symmetry with a calcareous skeleton and spines. They reside in the intertidal and subtidal zones of the Antarctic, Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Oceans, feasting on marine vegetation while being eaten by sea otters and starfish. Class Ophenrodea, also known as brittle stars, reside in shallow marine water with a 5-part symmetry and a water vascular system, feeding on invertebrates while being fed on by fish, hermit crabs, and mantis shrimp. And finally, class Holothuroidea, aka the sea cucumber. They lack arms, are bilaterally symmetrical, and have a soft body wall rather than a calcareous one. As a suspension feeder, they feed on particles and plankton, while being fed on by crustaceans and other fish. Well, that's it. I hope this video helped you to learn about some of the ocean's more fascinating creatures known as invertebrates.